Hello, it is I. Yes, it is me, Athena, back from the void. I am so excited to be sitting down at long last in front of my old painting with my ring light and my doggy in my lap. Oh my gosh, what a happy day it is. This video is going to be my sharing of some items and things I picked up at this year's Mystic South Conference in Atlanta, Georgia. I have never gone to a conference before, and I am so insanely happy that I did go. I've heard about it from Corey and Lane of New World Witchery, and of course from Ember Honeyraven. And I've wanted to go for the past couple years. And after last year, I talked to Ember, and the two of us together said, we have to make it happen. We have to make it happen. Even if we need to do a road opener to get it to happen, let's do it. And I am so thankful to say that it happened. I sat down with Ember to record what she got at the conference and to have little conversations about some of our thoughts and I don't know, the things that were exciting, new learnings, people we got to meet. And several times in her video, she referenced a link below to my video. This is the video. What's up? So I, in turn, will likely have a link of the video she recorded with the two of us together. When I arrived on Thursday night, we stayed up way too late, talking, eating, having a wonderful time, but we set those alarms and we were up and out of the door by around 7:15 because the first conference was at 8. And on Friday, we attended, I don't know how many. I did write some things down. Saturday was like our marathon day. We left the house around 7 and we didn't get back till almost midnight. And my gosh, you know what I realized this morning? I feel like my feelings towards what it was like to be marinating from Friday through Sunday in all of this wonderfulness at Mystic South. It's like a real life Hogwarts or Break Bills or whatever you want to call it. It's the closest I've ever been to experiencing what it would be like to be educated in that environment. And the only sadness is school is only open for 3 days a year. If it's in my power at all, I will never miss it again. It was magnificent. So I am a fan of hyperboles. I don't know if you've picked up on that. I have more hyperboles than anyone else in the world. All right, that was a joke. Miss Ember gifted me with a lovely notebook. Thank goodness she did, because it is very full of notes. On day 2, I left it back at the house, and so I bought another journal. This one I bought there. This was a little trash journal or something. It's really cute. And so I have some notes in here. I will use these to kind of remind me of some of the classes. I will not go into detail about it. I'll just tell you a little bit about what it was and how I liked it, and then I'll show you some of the merch. Unfortunately, I have to wear my glasses for this because I can't see. All right. Wow. Hi, there you are. All right. So on the first day, at 8 a.m., I went to a class called Deconstructing the Shadow, and it was very interesting. I had a little bit of a difficult time hearing, and yet I have front and back notes, and one of my favorite parts, a little oil that they gave us for free at the end. It's called Fractal Support, not asshole support, as Ember thought I said. Although maybe I need that too. I don't know. At 9:30, I went to one called Uncrossing Work with Sean Elias or Sen Elias. That one was good. That one was many pages of notes. There's different ways to know how much I like it. Here's all the notes I took on that one. That was good. Okay. Many pages. What I really liked so much about this class was the speaker was an expert and a practitioner and lives a life of hoodoo. And he was very knowledgeable, entertaining, and welcoming. I have a little white guilt as a Southern white lady. I'll just let you fill in the blanks of where some of that guilt might come from. And I know it is not for me to declare myself a hoodoo worker or to be knowledgeable in any way, but everybody, I felt welcome. There was nothing, this whole entire conference, I never had that gatekeepy feel that you might get, or that sometimes is out there in the YouTube verse or just the world in general. But lots of great notes, lots of shifts of my thinking. There were a lot of things I thought I knew a lot about, and then I was like, okay, didn't know that. Let's keep going. At 2:30, we went to, and I don't have the whole title out, but it was an astrology course. It was super short 30-minute talk by Ivo Dominguez Jr. And if you know anything about him, he was, for me, it was like meeting an elder or an ancestor in the flesh. This dude was so wise. Once I had sat in his presence for the 30 short minutes, I went on my little schedule and I changed out a bunch of the other classes I had kind of signed up to take, and I replaced them. Anytime he spoke, I sat in front of him. I took the class. Even if it was something I don't think I'll ever really use in my life, I just wanted to hear him talk. He was so intelligent and so full of information. He blew my mind with the astrology thing. Just when I thought I had a little bit of a grasp, at least on sun, moon, and rising, turns out, no, I didn't. Or maybe it's not that it was wrong. It's just that there was so much more. So much, in fact, that I had to go ahead and buy the book, one of his books, downstairs at where Mystic South was, this wonderful hotel. There were vendors. There was a little bookstore thing that they go there. And originally I wasn't going to buy books, and I should have known. Every time I say I'm not going to do something, that's the thing I do a lot or do most. But after sitting in front of him, I had to have some of his work. And so I bought this one, a Libra Witch, and at first I would have never bought this. If I saw it at Barnes & Noble or Amazon, I wouldn't have bought it, because to me it's sort of like everything you need to know about being a Libra. And I've already read all that stuff, right? But he has such novel, to me, ways of working with your astrological whole birth chart, that I suddenly realized this is not some 101 repeat of all the other books exactly like this out there. And I was noticing, since he even says in the introduction, since he's not a Libra, he brought in many different magical practitioners who are Libras to have them also weigh in on it. So I've started it today and I'm loving it. There is a chance Miss Ember and I will be having, we're talking about a video series. I'm not saying it's gonna happen. We're toying with the idea of a video series where we go through this, because she has one. She has the Virgo. And seeing if we can just, almost like a little book club that we share with you. We'll see. All right. Next. Remember I said there's a way of knowing how much I like something. One of it's like how many pages of notes. If you see my notes start getting all sideways and crooked, it means I'm writing as fast as I'm listening. Like, it's so much. And sometimes I just had to stop, because if I was writing, I was missing what he was saying. He does not waste words. He does not have filler and fluff. Everything he says just feels like truth. And I don't know, I liked him. So later, right after that, we went to one called Devil at the Crossroads by Taryn S. And it was really talking about folklore a bit. It opened up some cool ideas. At 4 o'clock, this is all on Friday, day one. At 4 o'clock, Ember went, okay, let me back up. So what's cool about this conference is there are several different presentations going on in different rooms at the same time. Sometimes there'll be 8 or 9 different things going on at once, and it is very hard to decide which one you want. It was harder to me at first until I I could make it easier for myself, because I'm like, well, if Evo's doing it, I'm taking that one. And when I would see speakers that I really liked that they were presenting again, I would go to theirs, you know. Not, I didn't love every speaker, and it's not that there was nothing wrong with them. Everyone who spoke knew what they were doing, obviously. But, you know, some things ring more true than others, or, you know, they just get you going. This one was Rob and I might say Noni Douglas, and it was called Where Spirits Linger. This was one of the ones I went to this. Ember went somewhere else. Boy, this was awesome. I have to tell you, one of the things that gets me the most excited and just buzzing is anything having to do with spirit communication, ghosts, paranormal stuff. Getting in touch with family, ancestors, that kind of thing. And it was like, again, paradigm shifting as I listened to these. And so my notes, they continue and continue and continue, and they're sideways. So that's like 2 thumbs way up. And I went immediately, when this was over, I ran down to where the books were being sold. And she, who does not really like to read like paper books as much as audio, I had to go get it. And so this is the book I bought that I'm excited to dig deeper. Let me also say, none of the people that I went to see advertised. None of them are like, if you want to know more, my book is downstairs. It wasn't an ad. They were teaching. I ran down there, grabbed it, and when I was in line, I saw someone next to me that was like, yeah, me too. That was good, wasn't it? I was like, yes, it was. I love it. I won't go into details about it. If I read it, and it's pretty long for me because I have a short attention span sometimes. But down the road, when I go through it, if I learn some things I want to share with you, I'll do so. At 5:30, I don't know who did this. Unto the Gods, Building Sincere Relationships with Deity. I don't remember who did this one, and I don't have it written down, but I remember. Oh, you know what? I'm pretty sure it was by the son. I'm pretty sure, because he was sitting there in the audience, and I didn't realize he was their kid. Yes, that's who it was. I don't have his name on me, but their son did put that out, and it was pretty interesting. And he had a Scottish background and had been a Marine, and so a little bit like, oh, a Scottish military person? Say no more. It was fun. Let's see. Is that the end of Friday? I think that's the end of Friday, because that one ended. That was probably done at 6:30. And I know I came out of the room and I was like, what's next? What's next? And then I realized, oh, we're going to go home and eat and maybe sleep. And so we did. And that was wonderful. I will say I never slept more than 2 to 3 hours, because I was so jazzed and so electrified, buzzing with all the excitement and with the just feeling like this place just woke me up out of a very long, it's not even a slumber, it's just a numb holding pattern I've been in for a couple years now. And boy, this was a wake-up call, and I loved it. Okay. Was there anything else I bought that first day? I bought rings. Down in the vendor area, they had all kinds of wonderful things. The one thing they didn't sell that I really wanted was a jacket or a shawl to cover up with, because I'm a hot-natured hoe, but it felt like it was about 60 degrees and I was dang cold. So next year I'm packing some sleeves. But anyway, there were jewelry vendors, people who handmade their jewelry or different things, and they were so reasonably priced. I could not believe it. I don't think I spent more than $40 on any one piece of jewelry. The first one I went to, and I apologize, I can't tell you who I bought it from because I just wasn't thinking about that. But if I do come up with some links, I'll put it down in the description. But these were both crafted. And I think even the ring part, like even this part, was handcrafted. And this has a piece of tourmaline on it. And this was maybe $40. I don't remember, but it was not much. This, of course, I like to wear jewelry according to what I'm going to be dealing with that day. Not so much in the summer, but when I'm at work, if you know you're going to have a hard conversation, or you feel like you need a shield or protect yourself for some reason, tourmaline's wonderful. And so that was one. At the same vendor, I bought this one. And I don't know if you can see, it has a little bit of a cat's eye. I don't think with the reflection you can see it, but it's a dark stone with a cat eye effect. I don't even remember what the stone is, but I liked it and I got it. Did I say I got 4 stones? I think, or 4 rings. I only got 3, I believe. The next day, I believe it was, I saw another vendor who had more my style. And I fell quickly in love with this labradorite ring. Again, you can't see it here, but it's very pretty. Has a nice blue flash. But this is more my style. This is the kind of stuff I wear all the time. In fact, this I did not get there. This amethyst, I got it at the crystal place I usually go to. In Tennessee. But this is more my style. And I mean, like my everyday style. But I love it. And again, $40, whereas like this one was probably more like 70 or even more. So well done. On Friday at 8 a.m., I took one called Daily Alchemy, and it was very short. I didn't need to take many notes because a lot of it was done on using your phone, which honestly in real life, that is more time to do something at an altar. I always have my phone, and she showed ways that you can manifest and keep your intentions, and reach your goals with using some things on the phone. Her name, if I say it right, Rachel Duchac, Duchac. I don't know. I liked her. She was very interesting. Obstacle removal with Brujeria and Curandissimo, Wendy Mata. That was a very good one. That one, I believe Ember also did with me. Yep. This one was very good. Did I buy it? Even though I didn't buy anything from that, there's a lot of resources online they give you links to. Like they'll do a little QR code, and then it takes you to their website, and there's a lot of free materials online, which was pretty amazing. After that, I think we ate. There was some yummy food. All right, at 1 o'clock, Evo. Another Evo, Dominguez Jr. This is an example of one that I don't know if I will ever use in my life, because it's not something for a solitary practitioner. It's usually needs to be done in a group. But anyway, it was called Divine Embodiment, Assumption, Drawing Down, Aspecting, and Possession. So it's like, you're channeling a deity or a person or all kinds of things. One cool thing about, everything about Evo's cool, but one cool thing is he gives you a little handout, and he won't let you, he didn't take one and pass it down. He hands it to you directly. And he told us that he wants to give it to you directly because his energy is on this paper, and we can use that when we need to, which was really cool. Which that's a reason I ended up not writing all over it, is I kind of want to, I might end up putting this, I probably will put this in my grimoire and use it as needed. But it was phenomenal. That was at 1. Okay, so here's what's happened on, was it Saturday? Yeah, it would have had to be. What happened on Saturday? We had other classes. Ember and I, and then a friend of Ember's. I'm just going to name her. I'm going to give her a fake name, and I'm going to call her Stevie. And the 3 of us did some of these together, and sometimes we did them apart, or they did some together. Stevie is someone that Ember has gone to the conference with 2 or 3 times over the years, and that's like a close friend of hers. And I was so honored that they welcomed me into their little group there, and our energies just seemed to work well together and just mesh together, so that by the end of it, I have Stevie's number, and I feel like we have a friendship, and it's pretty amazing. But after we went to the embodiment one that I just told you about, all 3 of us, instead of then going to our next ones, we went downstairs on some little comfortable couches, and we sat for 2 to 3 hours and just talked about everything that we'd heard so far, about personal experiences, some similar issues. I was really impressed that Stevie and I had at least one thing in common, that we were both kind of pondering about personal stuff, but ancestor stuff also. And so we were kind of agreeing with, yeah, that's a problem. I've been trying to figure out how to work with that or deal with that. And suddenly Miss Ember the Divine, she made a suggestion that both of us, our mouths were hanging open, and we're like, that is exactly what we should do. That is awesome. So, how when teachers know that when you teach something to kids or to students, that you need to stop every so often to let them kind of absorb and talk to others to assimilate their new knowledge. And even though there were classes we missed, I feel like that those 2 to 3 hours that we talked were some of the most valuable hours I spent that whole weekend. And it helped me have a lot of ahas, break through some things. You might have noticed I've been a little stagnant. I haven't really been on YouTube that much, and it was helping me break through some of that stuff. At 6 o'clock, I think Stevie had already left, and on 6 o'clock, at 6 o'clock, Ember and I took a little runes class, and I didn't write down the title, but it was really had an animistic flavor to it, and how to view and bond with your runes in a way that will help you work with them better, that they're not tools. They're like little, if you like animism or ever think that way, they're like little friends. That's not what the person said. The person who presented was amazing and so articulate, blew my dang mind. This was one of those examples of, I don't use runes. I made some witchy runes back when Ember did her Witchiversity like 10 years ago, or however long it was now. I made them, never once used them. I've never been felt called to work with runes yet. I reserve the right to do that down the road. But it was one of those classes where I was like, I don't know that I'm ever going to really need this or use this, but I'm going to just listen and be receptive. And by the end of it, I wanted to hug the speaker. They were so well spoken. They were so enthusiastic and knowledgeable and just genuine that I was just filled up with the awesomeness of it. And so whether or not I use this, it changed my perception and how I think of runes. And I wrote down some authors and some ideas. So there's an excellent chance I'm going to revisit that. That's the last one I have notes for on Saturday. I think I just vibed a little bit between, that would have ended around 7, I guess. And Ember was helping with one of the most, for me, life-changing parts of the whole Mystic South. Let me see if I have the paper of what it was called. I'm not going to tell you really anything about it, but I will tell you, it was a ceremony, ritual type of thing. It was slated to be from 8 to 10. We were there past 11:30. It was called, I'll just tell you, Underworld by Lantern Light. It changed me. It changed me. There was also some divine embodiment taking place. There were 2 people that called on some divine energy, and I'll just leave it under some divine underworld energy. I will leave it at that. It was next level for me. I wish I could tell you about it, but even if I was going to sit here and tell you all about it, I wouldn't be able to explain it. I really couldn't. All I'll say is, while I was there, it was ongoing. You know, there were probably 200 people in this very small space, all from different backgrounds, walks of life, interests, all, you know, magically inclined, but not all the same genre. And yet there was respect. There was joyful talking, and there was some dancing. There was one beautiful girl, I will call her girl, she was a young woman, who danced for those 3 hours, sometimes by herself, sometimes with other people. They had the most like hypnotic, like chanting music, and I was Shazamming on my phone, downloaded myself a whole new playlist for when I want to do some meditations and things. It was cool. Yeah, I think it was it was in the top 1 or 2 most life altering parts of the whole conference for me. All right. I have hardly sat here. I was like, I'm going to show you things I got. And all I showed you was a couple books. I will say one more book I did get. He did surprise Evo Dominguez Jr. He did not, as far as I know, he did not do a talk on this, but I now really respect what he has to say. And this is my favorite topic. So win-win, right? So this one is knowing and understanding spirit, spirit guides, ancestors, ghosts, angels, and the divine. That is so hard up my alley. I cannot wait to read that. And down the road, maybe I'll do some little book reports about some of this stuff. But I'm really excited. Outside of the books and the rings, I got at the vendors, you know me and my jewelry. Now, at first I wouldn't have bought something like this because, I mean, you can get these anywhere. I got a million pendants. But I got to speak to the person who wrapped it, and also he pointed out it is double pointed, and anyone who works with rocks and crystals understands what double terminated stone means. So this is one I'm normally always wearing, but I wanted to show it to you more easily. I forgot to show you my name tag, which I'm so excited. That's going in the grimoire. Even though there was no speaker for this, I know I've been told that previous years there was, I might say her name wrong, but Atalanta Moonfire, she's a bone witch. She was ill, so she wasn't there to teach a class on throwing bones. But I kept thinking about it, and so I went ahead and I bought a kit of bones from her, and I might come up with another cloth later, but I have a cloth from long ago Ember sent me, and some of the little trinkets and things that I was given during the conference, I also added those in here. And they had run out of her books, her signed books, but they are sending one to me, and she's already sent me a digital copy that I've started. I'm halfway through. I love it. But yeah, this is her card and info. If she's there in the future, I will be taking her class because I'm excited. I didn't want to buy a million things because I don't need a million things. So that's pretty much it for what I bought. That is it, I believe. Unless I'm forgetting anything. I don't think I am. I also had no room in my suitcase. It was packed all the way going. So that kept me honest with buying big bulky things because I did not have room in my suitcase on my flight back. Next year I'm taking an extra suitcase. Okay. But while we were there, I just want to share a little anecdote with you. And this will be where I probably end. But while we were there, I had so much fun with Ember and with Stevie. It was like we were a little power of 3 having a little charmed experience there. And every time we were walking around, which was often, the vendor area, especially the crystal area, because all three of us really like rocks and crystals, I would look, and Stevie would pick up this beautiful chunk of beautiful, it almost reminded me of a Herkimer diamond. It was just a kind of a clear stone, but it had like, it was better. It wasn't just a big old, nothing against clear crystal, but it was not that. It was something a little bit big and chunky and beautiful. And I looked at it, I was like, oh man, that is really awesome. And I was like, but I don't buy rocks anymore, really. I mean, I will with jewelry, but I was like, I have over 300 rocks from back when I first started, and I just don't need more rocks because I don't use them. If I'm going to use them in spell work, it's going to be chips, or it's going to be jewelry or pendants that I've enchanted. Like all my beautiful sit around rocks, I don't need to keep adding to that, because first of all, if I'm not 1,000% sure where they were mined, I don't want to do more damage to the earth. I know more now, and I don't want to. I don't want to. I feel like a lot of rocks are problematic, right? Also, I feel guilty when I let things gather dust, and it's been a while since I've been active in my practice. It's been a while since I've cleaned my stones and put them out under the moon, which I am planning to get back into. We walked by these beautiful crystals on Friday, on Saturday, on Sunday, and after a while I started laughing because we'd go by and I might not even stop, and then I'd look and Stevie was like, look, and I'm like, I know it's beautiful, but I'm not buying any more rocks. And so she put it back, and you know, hours later, next day, look at that, and I'm like, I know, isn't it beautiful? So you probably can tell where this is going, but when everything was done on the final day and we had our cute little pictures made, selfies of course, and we were in the parking garage, Ember looked at me and she looked at where Stevie had been parked, and she's like, okay, she's gone. And then she handed me a bag. She's like, she wanted me to give this to you after she left. And I'm like, what? And I open it, and do you know what it was? It was the beautiful, beautiful honking piece of rock, of crystal. This is what it looks like. I have not cleansed it yet and really sat and worked with it yet. On the bottom, it says it's smoky celestial, I think is what it says. And I wish you could, can you see? I wish you could see clearly how insanely beautiful and faceted and magical and glorious this thing is. And my mouth was on the floor of the car, and like I'm seeing rainbows in this thing. It is amazing. And it makes me crazy to not be able to immediately return the favor, buy something, but I think that was part of it. It's kind of like, that's why she was waiting until she was gone, so I couldn't jump out and be like, wait, you know. But I texted her and I told her, I'm getting you back. You could, yeah, one of these days. Leave, that is it. Thank you if you stuck around and watched all this. I'm excited about what's to come. I'm invigorated. I feel like my whole inside has just been refreshed and cleansed and woken up, and oh my gosh, it's the happiest I have felt spiritually in many years. Maybe about 4 years. Maybe since around the time I had to make a little exit from here. I didn't have to, I chose to, but let's just say I feel a whole lot more open, happy, and excited about the future now. So thank you so much if you did watch. Leave any comments below. Have you ever gone to Mystic South? Is it something you think you would like to do one day? I thought it was a little expensive at first. The tickets were like maybe $130, but once I was there and I saw that it's all inclusive of every class, that the knowledge that I got and the people I spent time with alone, one of them could have charged this. But for me, it was worth every penny. And I keep telling myself, I can't believe I almost didn't do this. I can't believe I almost let fear of the unknown or being stuck in my boring little world, almost let that stuff get in the way of what ended up being probably the best thing I've done in years. So anyway, I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you for watching. I love you. Take care.